Yo, Rings and Things fam, the Lakers aren't far from being in that contender conversation. The roster has talent, but the question is simple. What's one move that gets this team a step closer to contention? For me, it comes down to adding the right kind of wing. A player who can guard stars, hit shots, and make a difference in a playoff series. There are some interesting names out there, some realistic, some long shots, but all of them would give this team a boost. Let's start with Andrew Wiggins, the name that gets linked to the Los Angeles Lakers. He's a proven option, the guy who's already showed out on the biggest stage. In the 2022 finals, he turned Jason Tatum inside out, holding him to 36% shooting. And that's not just defense, that's series-altering defense. Adding 18 points, 4.5 rebounds, nearly 3 assists last season, plus 37% from 3. And you can see the blueprint when you look at the Lakers with the lens of LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves. He can guard 1 through 4, he can run with LeBron in transition, and he'll knock down those open corner threes Luka will generate all day. But here's the problem, it's the cost. Miami reportedly wants Rui, Dalton Connect, and a first-round pick. That's a steep price for Andrew Wiggins, who's going to be making $28 million and has another year coming up on his contract. Outside of Golden State, his motor has been inconsistent. But here's the wrinkle. Sometimes patience pays. Right now, Miami's asking price is sky high, but fast forward to February at the trade deadline, if the market cools and Wiggins doesn't pop in Miami, and Miami may want to go in a different direction, that price tag might drop. Suddenly, you're talking Rui in a second instead of Rui Connect in a first. The value play here might be waiting because Wiggins definitely brings you closer to contention, but timing in this situation is everything. Now, let's pivot to some underrated options when it comes to 3-and-D wings. The first option I want to present is Ochai Agbaji. This isn't a blockbuster name, but this might be the exact type of move that brings the Lakers closer. Starting with Ochai, he's only 24 years old, he's 6'5", athletic, he's already showing flashes of being that prototypical 3-and-D wing every contender is chasing. Last season, he averaged just under 6 points per game, but I view Agbaji as the kind of player who, if you hand him bigger minutes and a real opportunity, he can truly shine. The defensive tools are already there, the jumper has been there since his Kansas days, and all he needs is consistency and a system that trusts him with more opportunity and more playing time. He's the type of young piece that you can take a chance on now, before his value blows up later. On the other end, if you want the old and reliable, you've got Matisse Thybulle. He's 28, he's a defensive menace, he averages 2.1 steals, 1.2 blocks last year as a wing. That is insane production when you look at it in a vacuum. While his offense is limited, he quietly shot almost 40% from deep. At $11 million, he's affordable, and Portland's rebuild makes him available. Thybulle isn't winning you games with scoring, but he can absolutely swing playoff possessions with his defense. So between Agbaji's upside and Thybulle's immediate impact, both are cost-effective moves that make the Lakers stronger without selling out the future. And then there are the ideal wings. These are guys who fit both the now and the future. Herb Jones is that prototype. At 26, he's one of the league's premier defenders, while knocking down 42% of his threes last season. He can guard Devin Booker one night, Jason Tatum another night, Kevin Durant, it doesn't matter. He can be a player that you throw at any offensive weapon on the other end. The problem, New Orleans values him as a core piece. You need to attach multiple firsts plus a young star just to start a conversation. So most likely that's probably not happening, but that is a type of player that would fit the now and the future. And then there's one of my favorite players that would fit this mold, and that's Toumani Camara. He's 24, he averaged 7.5 points and 5 boards last season, but he plays with non-stop energy and just made all defensive team last season. He guards everywhere, he makes hustle plays, and he only makes $2 million a year. So he is a value contract and would not require you to give up that many players in a trade situation. However, don't undersell Portland's love for Camara and the future they see with him. They see him as part of the rebuild, which means he won't come cheap. So if you want him, you're paying real value. But I do see that paying that value, there is a return on that interest. So in the end, what's the move? If you can get Wiggins for Rui in a second, you do that 10 times out of 10. And that takes the Lakers a step closer to contention. If Miami's still asking for the moon, maybe you wait until the trade deadline when leverage shifts. In the meantime, Thybulle and Ochai Agbaji would be fantastic fits. Agbaji gives you the young piece who could blossom into exactly the kind of wing everyone is desperate for, while Thybulle is a consistent and reliable product in terms of what you're looking for in enhancing this Lakers roster next season. And we know Herb Jones and Toumani Camara are more of the dream ideal scenario picks, but if you have a chance to get on the phone and negotiate a way to get them, you make that call and make that decision right away. So here is the reality check. The Lakers have only one first-round pick to deal. Plus, they do have the expiring contracts of Maxi Kleber, Gabe Vincent, and Rui Hachimura. And you can't forget about that second-round pick. As nice as it would be to bring in the right player now, the cost might not be worth it. When the deadline rolls around and it turns into a buyer's market, that's when you get more bang for your buck. And that has been Pelinka's MO, patience, waiting for the right deal at the right time. So I will throw it back to you guys. Do you strike now or do you wait for the trade deadline? Is Wiggins worth paying a premium, or is Agbaji the breakout bet that you take? Do you chase Thybulle's defense in consistent production, or pay the price for Camara's energy and youth? Let me know in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more trade breakdowns. This is Osid with Rings and Things, where banners aren't optional, they are tradition. Until next time, peace.